Hello everyone, it's MadClaret 94 here, and we're back again. It's time for a slightly different version of Let's Talk Football because the fixtures list is brilliant. Massive postponements, but that's because the beautiful thing of the FA Cup is in the way. And my good friend John is here to discuss it with us. How are you doing, John?
Certainly, good afternoon, everybody. Hello, Chris. I'm very well, thank you. I'm looking forward to the action. It's been a topsy-turvy last week or so in the world of football, hasn't it?
It has. That's not even talking about Barcelona's comeback win against PSG, which is brilliant and terrible, all in the same way. But whether we have time to discuss that, we shall see. But we've got to start with the main thing that came through today recently at a time of recording was that Manchester United have managed to get away with a 1-1 draw in Rostov or wherever it is on the terrible pitch conditions over there. So they've come away with an away goal, so that's good for them.
I think they'll smash it in their own game in Old Trafford. I think not only that, but the good thing about that is Zlatan will be back for those because he's got a free match ban for what happened last week, hasn't he? So
Yeah.
So
He'll be nice and fresh.
Yes.
But yes. Now, like I said, because of the FA Cup, there are only 4 Premier League fixtures this week. Because the likes of Arsenal, who are actually still involved in the cup competition, a lot of the attitude of the Arsenal fans at the moment would have you believe that they're near the bottom of the Premier League table in no cup competitions at all. But hey ho, that's just how it goes in the way of an Arsenal fan, isn't it? Arsenal obviously play the mighty Lincoln City at the Emirates Stadium. A bit of a very, very big banana skin for them to slip on after their 10-2 drumming on aggregate by Bayern Munich. It's just, you don't know whether to laugh or cry at that one. Obviously, Tottenham are also involved, so their games. There's a total of 4 postponed fixtures. Sorry, 5, because the Monday night football as well is also postponed. So a very, very thin Premier League fixture list. But we'll make our predictions for that, and then we'll make our predictions for the FA Cup quarterfinals. Because there's obviously quite a few big games going on there. So
we're going to get guesswork, to be honest.
Yes, that'll be a bit of guesswork, but hey ho. So let's start with the Premier League predictions, shall we? They're all 3 o'clock kickoffs on Saturday, the 11th of March. We're already in March. The season is coming towards its end already, and I feel like we've only just got used to it. It's incredible how quickly time flies, but that's how it goes. So Bournemouth, we'll start with Bournemouth. They are playing at home to West Ham United in not really a relegation 6-pointer, but it's more a case of trying to put the distance between them and the relegation zone. Obviously Bournemouth coming off the back of that very good 1-1 draw at Old Trafford. Obviously it was quite eventful. Between Tyrone Mings and Zlatan Ibrahimovic, there was violent conduct left, right and centre, but that's... just quickly, your thoughts on the Tyrone Mings stamp? Do you see that as deliberate?
Well, I said it in my review yesterday. I put up a YouTube review of things on my own channel yesterday, and I don't know. It's 50-50 one way. I mean, some people will say it was meant, some people will say it was an accident. Whatever it was a stamp. Bournemouth appealed that, didn't they? And Mings has now been banned for 5 games. Zlatan's got free for his elbow, and it was blatant. I can tell you that straight away.
The elbow was fairly obvious. My thoughts on the Mings was that he wasn't really looking where he was putting his foot, but then Zlatan wasn't really looking where the elbow was going. But I get the feeling that Zlatan knew where his elbow was going, whereas Mings was. I don't know. It's difficult to say. They were at each other's throats for the entire game, so it was going to be like that.
The most laughable thing about it wasn't those 2 incidents, was the fact that Andrew Sermon got wrongly sent off.
Yeah, that was quite funny.
Now, it was just, I just couldn't believe it. It was ridiculous. I mean, you've got 2 people that are stamping an elbow in each other, and you've got Andrew Sermon, who's probably got on the first booking, he's very unlucky.
Yeah.
Now, the second one, he's obviously pushed, I think it's Zlatan anyway, but I don't think it's anything malicious. I just honestly think the referee is obviously looking for someone to blame, and he's blaming Sermon. And Sermon has actually got a very good discipline record. He's been very good at his discipline. And and I think that's a bit unkind. And I'm surprised you can't rescind obviously 2 yellow cards. It's not rescindable, which is a shame really, because it was just mistaken identity. The 2 players he should have sent off, he kept on. So, I mean, at least the FA have taken strong action. Obviously, Zlatan's been banned for 3 matches and Mings 5, which is going to deplete Bournemouth even more on Saturday.
So Bournemouth, obviously, going into this game, they're going to be without Mings and Sermon. I mean, Bournemouth are already defensively thin as it is, so that Mings will be a big miss. As for Sermon, he's been a fairly solid performer for them as well, so West Ham will probably be fancying their chances anyway. Not that they were beforehand, but I think it'll be it should be a fairly even game. I would probably back West Ham for the victory just simply because Bournemouth are a little bit out of form. So I'm going to go for it's never short of goals in a Bournemouth match, that's for sure. I'm going to go for 3-2 to West Ham.
I think it will be close. The thing is, the West Ham have been in magnificent form away from home. It's at home where they've struggled most, really. But having said all that, Bournemouth, as you say, will be depleted. There's no Sermon, there's no Mings for 3 games, and obviously, as you have alluded to, they are defensively very thin. I think this will be an opportunity for West Ham to exploit that. I think there'll be 3 goals instead of the 5 you predicted. I think it'll be a good game. But I'm going to go 2-1 to West Ham, purely because of Bournemouth's fitness and defence. But Bournemouth will give them a game, you can be sure of that. But I think Gary Howe's team, I know they got that draw at Old Trafford last week, but they have been in free fall. And if they're not careful, they could end up in the relegation dogfight. There's no doubt about it. So,
teams can get dragged into it late on, and they can be free of it for almost the entire season. But if you're, come game 38, once that's done and you're there, it doesn't matter how far away you've been.
Exactly. This is the fear I've got for Bournemouth. I like Bournemouth. They're a nice little club. They're punching above their weight. They've done remarkably well to get there, to get to the Premier League in the first place. This is now the bread and butter. Now this is their first massive win spell they've had in the top flight. It could well be costly. I hope not, but I don't think we're going to get anything on Saturday today. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Right, then we move on to obviously Crystal Palace versus Tottenham Hotspur is postponed, so move on from that one. Which, to be fair, Sam Allardyce is probably quite happy that his game with Tottenham has been postponed. Probably couldn't have done with that. That would have probably wrecked their run of form. Anyway, then we move on to Everton against West Bromwich Albion, which is a game that is taking place. A battle of between Lukaku and one of his former clubs, West Bromwich Albion. Everton slightly disappointed about not getting anything from White Hart Lane, although they did play pretty well. They just came up against Harry Kane, who is unstoppable right now. I think West Bromwich Albion will probably be slightly less of a challenge, still a challenge, because they'll play pretty defensively as they usually do. But I'm going to back Everton for the victory in this one. It's going to be a tight game. I don't think there'll be too many chances, but Lukaku, as I said, is also very clinical. And I think I'll back Everton for... It's at Goodison Park. I'm going to back Everton for the home win. I'm going to go for 2-0.
Well, I'm going to go exactly the same, but I think it will be a comfortable victory. I'm going to say 2-0 as well. West Brom are not the same team. I know they had that win against Leicester, but apart from that, they're really not offering much. Most of their points have been accumulated at home, but they've had a couple of recent reverses at home. I just think now that they've got to this 14-point mark, I think they are relaxing a little bit maybe. And they played into Palace's hands last week, and to be fair, Palace deserved to win that match. And I think Everton at Goodison Park, since the turn of the year, they've been a revelation.
Yeah.
I think it will continue. I think it will be very comfortable. It'll be 2-0. I say it's 2-0. But I think it'll be much more comfortable than what the 2-0 scoreline will possibly suggest.
Right. Okay. We've only got one more game after that on the Saturday, which is Hull City against Swansea City. which is a relegation 6-pointer. Let's face it. I mean, obviously Swansea they did well against us last week, and they've got to go to Hull, which I think will be a slightly tougher test. I would probably back Swansea for this one. The form that they're in right now, Llorente. Now, at the start of the season, we were both saying he was struggling to adapt. I think he started to get to grips with it. He's certainly come to form since Paul Clement took over. I think probably because they're utilising him for how he is used to being played as. He's more. You've got to feed him the ball more, which they've been doing really well, and utilising his aerial presence. I mean, he's a big man. There's no ifs or buts about that. You get the ball in the air, he's probably going to win the header, which he did last game out. So I think it's going to be a very tightly contested game. It's going to be very tense as well, I think, because both teams will again know the importance of this. But Swansea, I think so far they've shown the grit that they need to stay up, and I'm going to back them for the victory here. I'm going to go for 2-1 to Swansea. There'll be goals, but I think they'll just about have enough.
Well, I'm going to go exactly the same as you again, 2-1 to Swansea. But I have to say, Swansea, I thought against us last week they were superb. It's not just Llorente as well that performed magnificently against us. Norsing on the right hand side, he gave Stephen Ward an absolute torrid time for the 80-odd minutes he was playing. It was really good. I thought, apart from Llorente, I thought he was their man in the match.
Yeah.
They have some good players. I think since Paul Clement's come in, it's been a breath of fresh air for the club. And it's like the Swansea City of old. They're playing that vibrant, attacking football that we all know and love. Where it was under Riedlin and Bradley, they just couldn't get the best out of this team. It's a good team, Swansea, and they shouldn't really, by right, be down there, because that team is good enough to finish mid-table. There's no doubt about it. And Paul Clement is proving that. Totally right. I think he's coming there. He's been a breath of fresh air. It's given the players a boost. Now Hull, obviously, they were unlucky to lose to Leicester. And Leicester City now have suddenly come back into form since Craig Shakespeare's taken the reins. I think that defeat last week will have hurt them very much so. And I think you have to go with the team in form. It's going to be close. I'm going to say, like you, 2-1 to Swansea, but I think you've got to go for the team in form. That's Swansea, and they're playing some really good stuff at the moment.
So, going for what scoreline, sorry?
2-1.
2-1. Right. So both go. Oh yeah, you agreed with me, didn't you? Of course. Okay. Then obviously the other two games that were supposed to take place: Middlesbrough against Sunderland, a big derby match going on there, relegation. Now that would have been a really massive game to take place this weekend, but that's been postponed because of Middlesbrough still being in the FA Cup. And then of course Arsenal would have played Leicester City. I don't know how that game would have turned out. Would both teams have just down tools? They would just both be sat down. We're not happy with what's going on. Well, sorry, Leicester are actually quite happy now, so it's fine. But yeah, that got postponed as well. As did Southampton. We're moving on to Sunday. As did Southampton versus Manchester United. So Southampton would have been looking for very, very, very quick revenge for the League Cup defeat. I'm sure Gabbiadini will get what he deserved in the replay there. But obviously that's not playing because Manchester United were playing tonight when we were recording. Like I said, they got 1-1 draw away to Rostov or whatever. So then we move to the only game on Sunday, and the last Premier League game of the weekend, which is at Anfield, Liverpool against Burnley. Obviously Liverpool with a point to prove that they can actually play against the smaller teams in the league, because they knocked off Arsenal last weekend, 3-1. Which I think we predicted Liverpool were going to win that one.
What we didn't predict was Wenger leaving out Sanchez before the start.
Yes, that was unexpected. But obviously, Burnley, us, them lot behind me as well. We beat them 2-0 at the turf. So there's a little bit of confidence going into that match. A little bit of there's hopefulness. There's a possibility of getting something. The chance of us doing the league double over Liverpool for the first time in God knows how long. It's just a shame our away form does not give me any hope whatsoever in that kind of situation.
1930 something or other, 1930s, I think, Glasgow League in a league double over that lot. And
Yeah.
I can't see that record being broken, to be honest with you.
So I'll let you go first with a prediction on this one, John. How do you see this one going for us Clarets?
Well, last week I was very optimistic, and look how that, and because of my optimism, look how that turned out. So I'm afraid it's pessimistic mode. This, on paper, should be a home victory, I'm afraid. It breaks my heart to say this, being a Claret, but you've got to go. I mean, Liverpool, they were back to their imperious best last week against Arsenal. They really played some cracking stuff. I think we'll give them a game, but I think it's going to be close. But you've got to say, Liverpool's little bit of quality should shine through. But my heart says, but my head says, I've got to go with my head, I'm afraid, 2-1 Liverpool. But I think we'll win them close, but I can't see our red one children on Sunday, I'm afraid.
Well, I've always basically backed Burnley to lose away from home, more or less now. The last few videos I've kind of just been expecting it, because it happens pretty much. It's going to be a tough one. I would be very surprised if Liverpool didn't win by a large margin. The optimist in me, the optimist in me is saying, be nice. Just let it be 2-0 to Liverpool. Don't let it go any further. The realist in me says if Liverpool get going from minute 1, we could be in for a 5-0 drumming. But I'm just going to go with 2-0 because chances are Deitch is going to set us up to be very defensive. I don't think he'll be looking for well, he won't say it. You know, we won't. You know, he won't go. Let's just sit tight and hold for a draw. He will never say that, but he'll set up like it and just hope that Andre Gray gets something on the break, pretty much. But no, I'm just going to say 2-0 because I would fully expect Liverpool to win this game. And our away record, as I said, is abysmal. 2 points so far. I read a stat the other day, it was actually on Twitter. I think it was by London Longside, who obviously I follow because I'm down near that area. And they were saying that our away records, we have over the equivalent of losing an entire Premier League season in terms of our away record. We've literally got 5 wins, I think, something like that. A couple of 3 draws, or 5 draws, and the rest is 38 losses. It's like the equivalent of losing an entire season. I mean, something's got to change. I mean, I appreciate we got a point at Hull City. It was a good point, you know. And right now, we will take any points away from home. I mean, if we get anything out of this game with Liverpool, it will be a bloody amazing achievement to not lose to Liverpool at some point. You know, you play them twice. To not lose to them on either occasion would be pretty amazing. But you know, it's going to be a tough game, and I just hope that Liverpool don't turn up like this against Arsenal, because otherwise it could get it will be quite the struggle. So that's the only game on Sunday out of the way, and then we've got to move on to obviously the FA Cup, which has gloriously got in the way of the Sky-controlled Premier League, thankfully. Right, so starting with the first match in the FA Cup on the Saturday, which is actually an early kickoff. This will happen before all the Premier League games, and it's Middlesbrough versus Manchester City. Middlesbrough got the home draw, which probably means Man City would get the result because they can't win for toffee at home. Although they've not, obviously they're still in the FA Cup, so they obviously haven't done that badly in the cup aspect. But Pep Guardiola, I'm going to give him some credit here, because a lot of foreign managers in their first season, Antonio Conte will be the same as well, they've had a habit in the past of not taking the FA Cup seriously, because in other leagues they will quite happily throw the cups away to focus on the league or something. They don't understand how important the FA Cup is to the fans in England. Rafa Benitez made the mistake in 2004-05. Mentioned in Jamie Carragher's autobiography, he said that he had to explain to Rafa Benitez how important the FA Cup was. This was after they got knocked out by the team that wearing that kit back in 2005, thanks to a brilliant Traore backheeled own goal. Traore went on to make a goal line clearance in the Champions League final. Shows how a season can quickly change.
No, by the way, that own goal is still available on Danny Baker's blooper DVDs. It's available in all good DVD shops.
Yes, it's all over the place. It's one of the best own goals ever. But a lot of foreign managers don't take the FA Cup seriously. But Pep has come in and straight away given it the respect it deserves. Strong teams throughout every round. They floundered a little bit against Huddersfield, but obviously they had the second go at it and managed to steamroller them 5-1. Although they did make a bit of a meal of that as well, going 1-0 down. But he's shown the cup of respect, and I fully expect Manchester City to go through in this one. It might take a replay because we know how stubborn Middlesbrough can be. I mean, they got a point off Manchester City earlier in the season, didn't they? So let's not forget that. But I'm going to back Manchester City for this. They will either win the return leg quite handsomely, but I'm going to back them for a 3-1 victory in this one.
Shall I just note something? You said replays there. Now that's interesting because that's from the quarterfinals onwards. I should explain. For anyone who
did they change the rule, didn't they?
Scrap the replays, and everything has to be decided on the day, where it's extra time or penalties. And also, if it does go to extra time, any of the quarterfinals have had a fourth substitute now.
So they scrapped it for the quarter, but that's coming into effect this year, is it?
It's coming to effect this very weekend.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I knew they were talking about it, but I couldn't remember whether it was for this season or following. That takes a little bit of the icing off it a little bit. Okay, well, in that case then, that could change my prediction. Middlesbrough would probably be more stubborn in that regard. They'd probably be more likely to defend it if it's going to go all the way to penalties, if that's the case. No, I'm still going to back Man City for the win. I'm going to go 3-1 to Man City still, because I think they'd still roll them over. Rollover's a little bit disrespectful. They should have the ability to get past Middlesbrough. I don't mean to be disrespectful in that regard. So yeah, what about you? Do you expect a similar sort of thing?
I agree with you in the sense that Man City have taken the cup rather seriously. Now Middlesbrough have been quite lucky. I thought they were very lucky to get past Oxford in the last round. I think Oxford were very lucky, unfortunate not to even get a replay, because I thought they played really well in that match. I think this is probably one round too many for Bury. I think they have bigger fish to fry. The league forms should be correctly priority. There's also questions asked in his press conference this afternoon, at the time of recording, I should say, about his future. Now, he's been very stubborn. I think that could come back to haunt him. Now, the FA Cup won't be on the list of his priorities. But as I said, I think Pep will take it seriously. They play a strong team. I can see Man City. I think they'll keep a clean sheet as well, Manchester City. I really do. I can't see even Middlesbrough scoring. I'm going to say 3-0 to Manchester City, and it's just going to be so easy for Man City, so one-sided, despite the fact they're away from home. So no shock in this one, I'm afraid.
Cool. Okay, that's quite a no-nonsense kind of scoreline going on there. Okay, then we move on to the big one, the biggest game. Forget Chelsea versus Manchester United. We're going the Giants, the Giant Imps in Lincoln City. They have to go to the Emirates Stadium, which is basically on fire at the moment. It might as well be. I'm going to make a bold prediction here. As somebody who sat here and went, be very, very careful. You know, everybody around me when it came to the Lincoln City Burnley match, including yourself, John, you were like, we're basically through. I know that Arsenal fans are now very, very, very cautious about this. But a lot of them are still going, oh, wow, it's another non-league team, we'll be fine. I'm going to make the bold prediction here. It's going to go to extra time. That's my prediction. However, I do think Arsenal will scrape it by the skin of their teeth. 1-0 in extra time, simply because their fitness will then give them the advantage. However, I do think there is a big possibility of this going to penalties, because I know Lincoln City can really dig in, as we saw. And the way how toxic the Emirates Stadium is at the moment with the protests and everything, it's going to be the atmosphere is going to be very strange. It might even make Arsenal, it might even give Lincoln City more hope to actually try and get something. I think if Lincoln City score, that place is going to fall apart. Literally, the fans are going to go ballistic. So it all depends on who scores first, basically. I think if Arsenal score, I think Arsenal will they should win. I mean, it's a top 5 team going up against a team that's top of the conference. Basically, they're basically a League Two team at the moment, the way that they're playing. So I'm going to say 1-0 to Arsenal after extra time, because I think it's going to be a very toxic atmosphere, but Arsenal will eventually get over the line simply because they will be fitter than the Lincoln City players and all that. So that's what I'm going to go for. I don't know what your thoughts are going to be.
Well, I'm very optimistic about Lincoln City's chances. I thought you mentioned the fitness stuff. I didn't think the fitness was an issue. I thought, when looking back on the television later, actually they were still going very strong towards even the end, and that's what drove them on to win the game. Now, one thing that the Cowley brothers did in that game was do their homework on us, because they studied hard. They're very well meticulous in how they plan it, Danny and Nicky Cowley. They're very good, astute young lads. Now they're up against Wenger. This is going to be, and I'm sure they'll have seen a lot of Arsenal. I'm sure Danny Cowley will have seen what happened on Wednesday night against Bayern Munich. They're going to be, listen, they're not going to be on their own here this 11. They're going to be backed by nearly 10,000 coming down from Lincolnshire. So they're going to have 10,000 people coming down, which will make it that little bit more. It might be less toxic if Lincoln do win. I think it depends on what team Arsenal puts out. Now he doesn't really put out until maybe the semi-finals. He leaves his strongest team out until maybe the semi-finals, maybe. And this could actually play into Lincoln's hands. And if they do their homework, and if Matt Reid upsets Saka and the like, and Mustafi or whoever plays at the back, I think Lincoln could have a bit of joy there. They've got some. I mean, watch out for the two centre halves. They're good on set pieces, as we found out. Waterfall and Ragged, who got the winning goal in the last round. I think. Do you know what? I'm going to go romantic on this one. I'm going to back Lincoln. I really do. I know it's madness, Chris. I know it's madness. But with the way Arsenal are at the moment and all the pressure on Wenger, the pressure's off. Go out there, play their normal game, and if they play their normal game, they can do it. I'm going to go 1-0 Lincoln, last minute goal, and I'm actually going to go for Matt Waterfall to get the winning goal. So I've gone for a goal scorer. I think Arsenal will not respect Lincoln. They won't show Lincoln the respect. He'll probably put a reserve team out, and because that's what he does. And I think, obviously, the Cowley brothers have been a revelation, and they've given the FA Cup a breath of fresh air, and I'd love them to reach the semi-final. Lincoln City to win the game wide open.
Yes, there. I thought I was being bold by saying it'd go to extra time. You're going the whole next level. Very interesting prediction there. Then we get to, well, to be fair, all the games are fairly big. I mean, you've then got a London derby between Tottenham Hotspur and Millwall, which is just going to be filthy. We all thought that the West Ham fans maybe got a bit argy-bargy. Millwall are going to White Hart Lane for basically that will be the last time that they get to go there, because obviously White Hart Lane will be going at the end of the season. To be fair to Millwall, they've been the underdogs already once or twice in this FA Cup, and they've come out on top. Knocked out Leicester in the last round, I believe. So it's going to be a tightly contested London derby. I'm going to go for, provided Tottenham Hotspur play their strongest team, I'm going to go for Tottenham to win by 3-1.
Well, this will be interesting for Millwall, well, it will be for Tottenham, because Millwall in previous rounds have had home draws. They had a home draw against Bournemouth, they had a home draw against Watford, and they had a home draw against Leicester in the last round. So they've beaten 3 Premier League teams, but they have been at the den. Now it'll be interesting to see how they will go about it away from home against the Tottenham side that have won their last 9 competitive games at White Hart Lane, League and Cup. I think Pochettino knows he's got a good chance here. Millwall aren't a bad team. They're doing very well in League 2, League 1, sorry, League 1. They're in the playoff zone, well, around about the playoff zone. Neil Harris has done a terrific job there. But I think it might be 1 round too far, I'm afraid, for Millwall. If Harry Kane and Dele Alli start and they play to their potential, I think it could be a really, really unfair for Millwall and their players. And I'd like to give them a chance, but if Harry Kane gets on his A game, I can't see Spurs, and you can't see beyond Spurs winning. I I think it'll be 3-0 to Tottenham.
3-0 to Tottenham, right. And then that was the Sunday game. Then we move on to Monday, a Monday night FA Cup game. I know it's a little bit weird, that one, but hey, we can't complain too much because it is Chelsea against Manchester United. Now, the way Manchester United are playing right now, unbeaten in, I don't know, 18 matches now, more or less. Chelsea, obviously, unbeaten for ages, just as well. I can't remember the last time Chelsea lost. I can't remember when Chelsea last lost. It's a bit weird. Obviously, Mourinho going back to Stamford Bridge again. Obviously, last time, what was it? Was it 3-4-0 to Chelsea? I can't remember the scoreline off the top of my head, but I know Chelsea absolutely battered Manchester United. Is it going to go the same way? That's the question.
Well, first, am I alright to make the prediction first, because I've got my views on it. Now, this is, and it's to do with Zlatan Ibrahimovic. Now, he's the glue that's kept Manchester United together in recent weeks. If it wasn't for Zlatan Ibrahimovic the other week, they'd have lost the league up far. Now, he's going to start his first of his 3 games suspension this week.
Yeah.
And this could go favourably to Chelsea's hand. Now, Pogba has gone off the boil a little bit. It depends. I know Mourinho's got all this stuff. He's won a League Cup. He's played for trouble, but they have got a mammoth task going to Stamford Bridge, where Chelsea rarely lose. They've rarely lost since Conte's been there. I mean, I think it'll be close. I think there'll be goals in the game. I think it'll be 5 goals. I think Chelsea will nick it 3-2, but I think it will be a very, very good game. I'm going to say 3-2 Chelsea after extra time, but I think it'll be interesting to see how Manchester United actually go on without Zlatan, because I think he has been the glue that's held United together. What do you feel about it?
It's a tough one to call. I mean, the last time they played each other at Stamford Bridge, like I said, Chelsea absolutely demolished Manchester United. And Jose Mourinho wasn't a very happy man with Antonio Conte. It's tough to call. I mean, no Zlatan for United, which will be a big miss. Chelsea will probably be full strength as usual. I'm gonna go for 3-1 to Chelsea. I just think if they play as well as they have been in the league, they won't have any trouble at all. I mean, as much as Rashford might get the opportunity to start, or Rooney might start and whatnot. I mean, Rooney's past his prime now. He's probably in his last season with United. I mean, he has a habit. His record is pretty good against Chelsea in big cup games. But I just can't see. The goal threat from Zlatan Ibrahimovic will be sorely missed, and I think it will show massively in a game again, particularly against Chelsea, who stop you from getting most opportunities as it is anyway. I'm gonna go 3-1 to Chelsea. I just think they'll have too much quality.
I agree. I mean, we've got some. I think there's going to be some interesting games. I do honestly think. I mean, you look at the ties. I mean, the team that I think will be most powerful will be Arsenal. I don't know. I don't know why. You might think I'm mad. I mean, the viewers might think I'm mad, but I just think the Cowley brothers, if they can do their homework on a team like Burnley, who only lost 3 home games independently, not go for the whole lot against Arsenal.
Well, Arsenal struggled to beat us over 2 games, so
exactly.
Why not? Why can't Lincoln do it? Why not? Especially now is the perfect time to play Arsenal, simply because they're in such turmoil. This is literally the opportunity. Lincoln couldn't play Arsenal at a better time. So I think that there's a big possibility for Lincoln to absolutely shell shock everyone and get to Wembley, which would be magnificent in itself.
And it'd be great. It'd be great for the game, wouldn't it? It'd be great for the.
It would. I mean, Graham Taylor has been. I think his spirit has been carrying Lincoln City through this cup competition. I think he's probably got enough for 1 more, maybe even 2 more pushes. Who knows? Maybe Lincoln City could get to the final, and absolutely, the dream would be real. Who knows? But yes, that's all the games. Sadly, you know, only 8 games this time round, which, you know, we're a couple short, but that's just how it falls, unfortunately. The glorious FA Cup has gotten in the way of the Premier League, which, to be fair, isn't really too much of a shame. I would take the FA Cup over the Premier League most times. It's just a shame Burnley aren't involved. But hey, it just means we don't have to get done by a bad offside or a bad penalty call this time. Or maybe we will, who knows? Liverpool might get lucky. Who knows? But anyway, that's where we're going to leave it. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you again for joining me, John. I know it's been a testing week after the Burnley game last week, but you know, game doesn't take too long to correct it.
No, I honestly think that we're going to see some really good action in both League and Cup this weekend, and I hope
there's some good fixtures. There's some good fixtures this weekend.
If I sort out some certain equipment and get it working again, I might be able to do a tea-time commentary on Lincoln's trip to Arsenal as an FA Cup special. So stay tuned to my channel for that, and yeah, it should be a great weekend.
All right. Thank you very much for watching, guys. Hopefully you can join us for the next one, and we'll see you there. Cheerio.
Ciao.